Good morning, students. Today is Wednesday and it is the 29th of April. And today we are going to look at multiplying and dividing integers. We will start with multiplying. So we're going to start with something you've known for a long time. So you have known for a long time that any number multiplied by 1 is that number. And just building on this, 6 times 2 then is 12, 6 times 3 is 18. So this is when you multiply a positive integer by a positive integer. The result is positive. And I'm just going to sum that up out on the side here. A positive times a positive is equal to a positive. Now, how about when we multiply a negative number by a positive number? So if we were to take -6 and multiply it by a positive 1, any number times 1 is that number. So it follows that -6 times 2 would be -12, and you can just relate that back to addition by saying -6 plus -6 would be -12. So it fits in with our addition rules. And then -6 times 3 is going to be -18, because -6 plus -6 plus -6 is -18. So from these three, you can see that a negative integer times a positive integer is negative. So a negative times a positive is going to be negative. Now, we also know, and you know, that we can use the commutative property of multiplication to change the order of those last three equations, of the factors in those last three equations around. So we can do this. 1 times -6 is -6. 2 times -6 is -12. And 3 times -6 is -18. So that's a positive times a negative is negative. I'll just put a line down here so that you can see those overall rules very clearly. So a positive times a positive is positive. A negative times a positive is negative. A positive times a negative is negative. And then what's going to happen when we do this? A negative times a negative. When we remove -6. So I want you to think about this as like you're subtracting or you're removing one group of -6. The value would go up by 6 because you're removing a group of -6. So it's like a double negative. I don't have an untidy bedroom. Must be tidy then, I suppose. I don't have no bananas. I must have bananas. So a negative times a negative is a positive. It's like a double negative when you're writing in ELA. So -2 times -6 is going to be +12, and -3 times -6 is going to be 18. So a negative times a negative is positive. Now, there's a way to sum up these rules. When the signs are the same, the result is positive. When the signs are different, the product is going to be negative. So here's the rules for multiplying integers. Same signs, the result is positive. Different signs, the product is negative. And I also have a little visual for summing this up. And here it is. A positive times a positive is positive. A negative times a negative is positive. A negative times a positive is negative. And a positive times a negative is also negative. So when the signs differ from each other, the result is negative. The product is negative. And when the signs are the same of the two factors, the product is positive. Now, the one thing, this is a really nice little diagram for remembering it, but I want you guys to be really careful. You can only use this when you are multiplying, and you can also use it when you are dividing with integers. You cannot use this rule when you're adding and subtracting. You've got to use what we did earlier in the week. Let's show you about dividing now. So, just move this. Dividing integers. So one of the rules we wrote earlier on was that 6 times 3 is 18. Therefore, it goes that 18 divided by 3 is 6. So a positive divided by a positive is positive. Let's look at the next one. Negative 6 times 3 is negative 18. So negative 18 divided by 3 is negative 6. So that's a negative divided by a positive is negative. 3 times negative 6 is negative 18. So we could write, from that, we could write negative 18 divided by negative 6 is equal to 3. And that's a negative divided by a negative equals a positive. And then the last one would be, this is what it looked like for multiplying. And here's the division. 18 divided by negative 6 equals negative 3. So this is a positive divided by a negative, and that's equal to a negative. So here are the 4 results, just written in signs. So I want you to see that when the signs are the same, the quotient is positive. When the signs are different, the quotient is negative. So this is the rules for dividing integers. Same signs is a positive quotient. Different signs is a negative quotient. And you can use the same diagram that I used for multiplying, only just put a little division sign as the nose. So when you are dividing two positive numbers, the answer is positive. When you are dividing two negative integers, the answer is also positive. When the signs are different, negative and positive, the answer is negative, or positive and negative, the answer is negative. Again, remember that you can only use these little face signs when you're multiplying and dividing. They do not work for addition and subtraction. Thank you very much. You will carry on to do some IXL practice and to enter some answers in formative. Thank you so much. See you later. Bye.